Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Mystery lady, I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Mystery lady, I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy. I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy.
Jamil, I remember in 2006, you decided to go to Atlanta. I wasn't really excited about you going, but I saw that you were determined to go. Because when you were on your way, the car broke down, and you got out of your car and got into your cousin's car and had your car towed back home and kept going to Atlanta. And then from there, I just saw how you began to bloom. And you had your ups, you had your downs. And even though I was here and you were there, I was still just a phone call away. And we talked every day. It's just been exciting to see how you've grown, how you've changed your way of thinking, how you've enlightened me in your journey, how you've shared so much knowledge, and you've taught me so much. You've taught me how to think for myself. You've taught me how to investigate for myself and seek out the truth. And that's something that I never did before. And I'm really grateful for that. It has taken a lot of courage for you to do the things you've done. You have made me proud. I'm excited for you. I love you. I admire you. You encourage me to pursue the best me that I can possibly be. In all that I do, I share with you. And I'm grateful for that, and I love you.
Mystery lady, I know the world is going crazy. I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Saturday. We are at the first day of May. We almost 6 months in. We almost halfway done with 2021. Good morning, Q Quarles. How you doing this morning? Well, wait a minute. Let's unmute you. Let's unmute you.
Boop, done.
There you go.
That was on my end, by the way.
Yes,
Okay.
it was. Bless your heart. Yes, it was. Good morning, Caroline. Caroline.
Don't do her like that this morning.
Oh,
Nobody has time for your shenanigans.
Everybody has time for these shenanigans. Man, I was up super late last night getting this studio together, and it's still not the way I want it, but we here with the royal, peaceful, purple lights in the back. So, what's going on, Q Crows? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. After this show, I got to get outside and cut my grass. It was just cut last week.
Wait a minute. You got to cut your grass?
Yeah.
Where are the kids at, man? Man, that was my first hustle, was cutting the neighbor's lawn.
And you know what? And typically that's what I do. I wait on the little kids, but they be taking too long. By the time they start really getting up and out, shoot, the grass come up to my calves. I can't wait that long. I can't wait. So I gotta go ahead and get this stuff cut.
Good to see you too, Caroline. That should be there should be, there's a lot of things that's missing with in our neighborhoods, based off of the newfound, I don't know if you want to call it luxury, but growing up, a lot of us were poor, but we didn't know we was poor. But it was it was due to a lack thereof that you knew you had to go out and get it. But now our generation started popping out kids, and we started moving on up in corporate, and our kids, they don't have a desire to go out and be self-sufficient a lot of times, and that falls back on a lot of lack of mentorship. But
the whole saying of I just want my kids to have what I never had.
Yeah, instead of knowing what you didn't know. And that's one thing we're going to touch a little bit later on today, is how you are controlled by the things you have no idea about. But I don't mean to go too deep in this, but if you have children that can walk, and I ain't talking about toddlers that can walk. I'm talking about, 11, 12, and they have a desire to, this is a consumer society, and we teach our kids to just consume. We don't teach them how to
Yeah.
to necessarily access resources. And so that's why illegal activity, one of the reasons why illegal activities are so
Prevalent.
yeah, because it's like, oh well, I just got to move this and make a call here and still play Xbox, and I can get $100-$200. But
Yeah.
I say all that to say some of the easiest money to make is lawn care. You don't have to be an HGTV specialist,
No.
landscape specialist to make a few $100 on the weekends, especially in the summertime. So get your kids out there and get them responsible for their resources early. And
Yeah.
good morning, Mama Harley. Good morning, baby.
Good morning. Good morning. And good morning, Caroline, too. I didn't get to say it earlier, but
What'd you say?
morning, everybody.
Yeah.
I said I didn't get to say good morning to Caroline earlier to this morning when she came in either. So
Caroline. I got that. You know what? Sometimes I can't stand being around parents because I do something, then y'all give me that same look, the same look that you give your kids. I'm a grown ass man. Don't be looking at me like you about to put me on punishment. I just look up at you like.
and I give you that subtle head nod, like
I'm about to whoop your ass when I get you home. Wait a minute, I am grown.
As soon as we get home.
As soon as I tell you, I'm musically inclined with Tourette's. Anytime.
That's it. Listen, it ain't just you.
Yeah, you say one word and the jukebox be like, play right now.
Listen, I you can't be my friend if you don't do that.
Hey, I could be in the middle of a daggone G4 classified conversation as soon as I get sit down, Mr. Harley.
You have to have it has to have like a trigger word or something in there. And then as soon as that word is said, it bing, just whatever song just pops up, and that's it.
She said she started singing a song. See, I'm not the only one.
I told you, listen, all my family members do it. We all do it. Man. We are like that, and we talk in songs and in movie quotes.
You know what's ironic about that? That takes me back when we were on the plantation and we had different languages, but we still could communicate.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much uniqueness to our existence that we don't even necessarily focus on. And I'm talking about humans, period. Like when I found out that women that live in the same house synchronize their cycles, I was like, what? What is that?
Yeah.
And there's grown-ups to this day that still don't know that. I've been in conversations and I'll bring it up.
How.
Huh?
They would have to live in a household where it's not, I don't know, not too many women or something, or I don't know.
Or a lot of the dudes just don't take time to really
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But there's, not to say all dudes, there's women that don't know that. And I was talking to a woman that was a doctor, and I was asking her, and she was like, I don't know. I didn't know about that. And I'm like, but you're a doctor. But then I had to realize doctors aren't taught any of that stuff anyway. This is stuff that
maybe she just didn't, because listen, even, I don't know, even the doctors that I talk to know that. I don't.
Man, it's so many things that the people once understood have no clue about. And that just speaks to the magic that humans have, but we just, oh yeah. We don't think nothing about it. Meanwhile, the scientists are like,
We know it.
right. Speaking of which, we're gonna get back to the basics and start dropping some book titles. People, medical apartheid.
Ooh.
Now more than ever, you need to get up on game. Now more than ever. Medical Apartheid by Harriet A. Washington. The dark history of medical experimentation on Black Americans from colonial times to the present. Can't say you didn't hear it here.
There's also another book too. It's the something of medicine, and it's I read it and I'm blanking on it, but it speaks on that too.
Yeah.
It's a really good book.
Yeah.
Once I remember the title, I'll get back to you and we can bring that up too.
Okay. And see, Caroline says, musically, you bring me joy. That's about to start another song, Caroline. Let me get that comment out here before the jukebox kick in. And she says, not just that, women that you bond and connect, also in relationship, the male affects the woman's cycle schedule. See? See there? Well, how can we affect it to where y'all don't have a cycle? Because y'all be tripping on your cycle. No, I'm just playing.
That's a medical practice in which they they receive kickbacks on that practice. Is called a hysterectomy.
Well, no, she said men in a relationship can change the
No,
cycle.
I'm responding to your comment when you was like, well, how can we change that process because women be tripping on the cycle. I said that's another practice that they use for kickbacks in the medical field. It's called a hysterectomy.
Yeah. I'm talking about me using my superpowers that Cece said I had. I just walk in a room and women just like, and then tell all the fellas, now pay me $20 a piece because now you're going to have a good day. Good morning, Siobhan. Good morning, sweetie.
Good morning.
Dudes all over the place. Hey, book Jamil. Book Jamil at all the family functions. And then Cha-Cha says, do men have cycles as well? Well, listen, I think we do have emotional type of things, but you better not be bleeding out your butt. That's
or
a bigger problem.
Else.
Yeah, if you bleeding anywhere monthly, you got a problem.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go get that plugged up. What'd you say?
I wonder if men are affected by, well, similar to what she just said. Men are affected by the women once they come on their cycles. So it kind of sparks something emotionally within them to where it's kind of lasting. I wonder if it lasts outside of said relationship. If they are no longer in a relationship, does that monthly emotional roller coaster last or what have you? I've seen some emotional men.
Emotions make you cry sometimes, baby. See, why
listen,
you do
I was thinking more around Carl Thomas's emotional, but you go right ahead, whichever works for you.
But when you think about the man-woman relationship anyway, when you think of intercourse, we always focus on the physical, the external side of it, but not necessarily the energy aspect of it.
Right.
And I remember in college, at some point in college, I thought I had a sex addiction. Because it was like every day I was just like, ooh, can I get something today? Ladies, Is that lady over here that want to give me some? Lady, I got some ramen noodles.
You was thinking to yourself, I'm in my robe.
And I used to wear a robe, I think, in college. But
you look too good to be alone at that time,
right.
huh?
But in all actuality, I was just a young whippersnapper that his hormones was rushing because that's what happens. But I was afraid. I was like, why do I want sex all the time? So I put myself on what's that called when you don't have sex?
Celibacy.
Yeah, I started a short stint of celibacy, and
a short stint. Okay.
well, not necessarily short. It was a while, but because I was feeling kind of dirty because college was some good days. But what was actually happened now that I think back is I had absorbed the different energies from the various women, and now that I'm older, you realize that you were sort of absorbing their dysfunction or their traumas in addition to your own.
Same.
Yeah. So you are absorbing the energies and you're walking around with those energies. And I will say that when I was in that bubble of celibacy in college, I felt free. I wanted some, but I felt free. And anytime you turn on the television, it was like, come on, get some coochie. Come on, get some coochie. You're like, well, this is a Ford truck commercial. Why? Or I remember watching a Burger King commercial. Burger King commercial. And they was talking about Whoppers, but it was a bunch of naked women dancing around. I was like, what the hell's going on?
That's always been a thing. But so as a man whose, I guess, thing is external or hangs out of, how is it that you absorb versus that of the female whose is internal? Like you would think that,
So
that
look at a plug. Look at an outlet. You have the male prongs that go into the female ports. And what happens?
mm-hmm.
Electricity is exchanged. Electricity is energy.
Yeah. Okay.
When you think of she says, yep, the exchange of energy is important. Yep, especially when it was with the right energy. I forgot I was on to something. When you think of hormones and when you're generically horny, when you think about it, I'm horny. I find that what that is, that's the external attribute to the hormone. But really what's happened scientifically is your DNA is saying it's time to procreate. Procreate. Sex is for procreation. It's to create more humans. Mm-hmm. And so the hormones, when you break it down, is that the essence, it's that universal energy that's in you. Everything that's in the makeup of the human body is in everything else that's living. The universe, the stars, the air, the water, the vegetation. We are all connected to the universe. Although we get it misconstrued with these social constructs that tell you otherwise. Mm-hmm. But when you get down to the science, you find that the only currency on this planet is energy. That's it. And so when you look at the metaphysical aspect of it, you're kind of stepping away from the external attributes and you're taking a deep dive. And then you're going through layers and layers. So you're definitely exchanging energy, whether you are plugging in or getting plugged into. Come on, somebody with the plugging in. Plug it in, plug it in.
Not the jingle. Okay.
I was like, let me go to these comments. Yes, CC, sexy ramen noodles. That's right. Kiana, Tell them about how I was a chef in college. Everybody knew to come to my apartment. We was gonna have some some baked chicken and some aluminum foil with the seasonings, and some ramen noodles with American cheese.
Listen, I didn't get that because I was a friend. So all I got was I got ramen noodles. That was a good analogy, but all I got was ramen noodles and tuna.
Oh, you didn't get the chicken?
No, because that's not what we did. We didn't do chicken. You did chicken to romanticize. I got tuna.
Yeah. See, the chicken was for
And that was yeah. The-
Okay, now she telling on me, ladies and gentlemen. We got to go. That was it. That's the show. Good night. God bless. Thank you for coming out.
and we watched Jamie Foxx's I Think I Need Security. I Might Need Security a bazillion times.
Yep, that was the precursor to me starting my career in stand-up comedy. ZC says, deep and funny. I don't know if I should laugh or think. You should do both. You should do both.
Yeah, do both.
Plug it in, plug it in. All right. My God, J Dub. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It
Nor
only
destroyed.
flows from whole. Come on, somebody!
Yes, indeed. I remember the first time my daughter said that to somebody. My middle daughter, somebody was talking to her, and she said that to them in mid conversation. It was an adult too, and he was like, what child is this? I was like,
And you
don't
know
play
what?
with him now.
Hey, Chacha, I know you're on the rolling like a bug right now. Romantic chicken wings and secret sauce. Come on, somebody!
Don't you encourage that, J Dub? Don't you encourage that?
J Dub, we on the roll. Keep it going, baby. Keep it going.
That romantic chicken and secret sauce. Oh my God.
It ain't no secret. It ain't no secret.
Oh, I can't with y'all. Not today.
Woo, let's go, Ric Flair. But you know what? Speaking of the energy, though, it's another book I want to address, and I've said this. I spoke about this book multiple times, and what I'm seeing out here in regular day living, and
Oh my God! Somebody else done said something stupid. Look, every good brother has a chicken dish.
JB, we're gonna have to bring you on. You're gonna have to be you're gonna have to come on to the show. He's throwing up alley oops and layups.
No.
Oh, yeah, everybody had chicken. Everybody had a chicken dish. Come on, man. What you doing later on? You don't want that DD food. You want that.
No. So you go to the quads. I got something better.
Yeah, you want the quads. You come on. I got the quads for you. Anyway.
Oh my God.
College.
Go to the book.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there. But what I find in just interacting with people on a daily basis, and although I try to limit as many interactions as possible just to kind of safeguard my energy, not to totally remove me away from reality, but you know, hey, how y'all doing? All right, now it's too much. Let me go back in the house. But what I find is, and this is even talking about me, we tend to use our trauma as crutches.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say crutch, I mean we don't want to let it go. And it's hard to let it go. And we spoke about this before. And what happens after you reach a certain age, you build this, you barricade yourself into this whatever this is. You barricade yourself into that. And what ends up happening is your interactions with people, if you're aware of what trauma does, you interact with people with trauma, even though it's masked. You know how I made this analogy yesterday to a friend of mine. The brain has this this special feature that everybody has, but we don't realize this is what we're doing. Where we'll sweep our trauma under a rug, hide it, thinking that it's gone, thinking that, whew, I don't got to think about that no more. But what happens is all of your movements, all of your interactions, that trauma is coming out. Like you walking around like Thriller, like but you don't realize you Thriller. Yeah. And so from day to day, it's all type of interactions where people just listen to rebuttal. They don't listen to comprehend. And then you have a lot of people that just, they're talking based out of their trauma, not based out of logic.
Yeah.
And so whenever I bring up the topic mental health to strangers, at least anyway, I get pushback. And somebody told me the other day that I think that I was perfect because I said that I need the people that I'm around to actively be working on their trauma outside of our friendship, our institution, our relationship. And I was like, how is that being perfect? That's something that I do because I don't want my traumas to affect the exchange that we have going on.
Yeah.
Why would that make me perfect? Why would that make you perfect?
I don't understand that either. Like I literally just told I talked to my mom and a couple of other people, but Tamika too. I talked to her and I told her, you know, I'm actively working to be a better listener because I realized my issues of in the past projecting my insecurities and also talking a lot about my trauma to them. Like after so long, like you want to let your friends be your friends. Mm-hmm. So and if you want to talk about, you know, deep trauma, it's okay to talk to your friends about that, like in the beginning, but to keep on talking about it and going over it, it's you releasing an unwanted energy onto them. That you should be putting onto a person whose job it is.
A professional.
To actually listen to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So me and my family are in therapy. And it's a thing.
What?
Like we have our sessions. Yeah.
The whole family.
Well, no.
Okay. I had to get a little soca rewind in there. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's me and my household because I don't want to I've spent years of just unleashing that stuff on people, and I realize that is me holding myself accountable for my actions and saying, you know, I don't want to be that person no more. Come and talk to me. Like, let me listen to what it is that you have to say.
And that's important. And what's really important is the A word that you just said, and that's accountable.
Yeah.
Accountability is one of the.
That is the word of the year, baby.
That's one of the hardest things most people can do. A lot of people refuse to hold themselves accountable. And in situations, so in life, you're not supposed to have this unscathed life. You know, when most kids that grew up in our era, when you look down at your knees, I don't care how fine you are, look down at the knees. You're going to see all kind of patches and scratches. Look at the elbows. You're going to see all type of marks, and it's because you had to fall. It's because you scraped yourself. You tripped because as a child, you're new to this existence. You don't know that, hey, I'm about to try to jump this ramp. on this little what's those bikes called that had the banana seat on it, the long seat. There's nothing sport about
No,
that bike. There's nothing
it's
that
not. It's not.
adult should. An adult knows if I'm going to jump a ramp, that's not the bike to do it.
No.
As a child, you're like, I seen it on TV with a
I'm
motorcycle
gonna
jumping
do
over
it.
cars. I'm about to take this banana seat that we got from the Goodwill, and I'm jumping over bricks on
Oh,
fire. And you
so
do
many
it,
memories.
and your entire world turns upside down when you realize you shouldn't have done that. But guess what?
Not at all.
You won't be doing it again. And that's the importance of knocking your head. Is to
Hmm.
recognize that you played a role in it.
Yes. Yes.
It don't so when you think of relationships, there's this phrase that I see a lot of women use, and it's called fuck boy. That phrase is an immediate turnoff to me. And it's not because of the phrase. It's because I'm listening to what they're saying, and if the majority of the men that you are attracting are fuck boys, what should that tell
What
you?
are you?
That
Mhm.
means you are attracting this to some capacity for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, but it's imperative that you figure out what it is that's making them attracted to you and not the men that you want. Same thing with guys. Same thing with any one thing about me is I like for people to love themselves. I don't like for the people that I'm around to hide themselves behind materialism, behind vanity, I want to be friends with you. I want to be associated with you, not this costume or not this third person that you present to the world. And when I see people that they identify with things that aren't even important, I have to push away from them. And some people would call me superficial for that. Why? Because I like real stuff,
Genuine.
genuine.
Yeah.
I mean, because you got to look at it from a mental aspect. If you are comfortable with always presenting this image that's not you, what is that doing? Like, what does that mean? That means there's something about you that you're hiding. So, anyway, I like to say there's responsibility and accountability that we have to take in our trauma. And this is a book that everybody born in this country needs. Dr. Wayne Dyer, Your Erroneous
Your
Zones.
erroneous zones. Read that. You recommended that.
A million
Uh,
times.
yeah, and I finally read it. Yeah, it's dope. It's dope.
Let me get to these comments. Yep, accountability and self-awareness is key. Yeah. Key to the lock. Thank you for addressing mental illness and the need for therapy, not friends. That's right. Not friends, not coworkers. Not
Yeah.
You have to take responsibility for your own
Yeah.
happiness. It's nobody else's responsibility for you to walk
Yes.
out this house and because and this is another when you think of people, men and women that came close to death. Once they come out of that, you can't sit them down.
Mm.
They up pop locking and break dancing. Ooh, life is good. But you don't got no gas in your car. I don't care. I'm going to walk. Hey, I almost got up out of here. All this other stuff ain't important. So, in many cases, it takes you to for something extreme to happen for that light to kick on because we are constantly inundated with BS. Okay.
Yeah.
What did she say? I mean, I'm on the road today. Come on, somebody. Also, there's one
Also a
thing to
big
attract
one.
it, but also something is going on when you attract the person and decide to continue to deal with. Exactly. And that's what you constantly see. It's like you can't be mad at the car salesman for selling lemons when you knew that they sold lemons. You would need to be upset that you knowingly signed up for a car from a person that you know sells Flintstone whips.
Women. You said
As soon as you get in that mug, you see a sign, use your feet. Yabba dabba doo. I'm going on to 285, 465, and I got bunions. Are you going to post the names of the books? I
yes.
can. Because I looked over and I'm like, I got some. I'm looking over. I'm like, I got some more books. Yeah, I will. It's important. Books are important. There was a scholar. I don't know if it was Dr. Francis Cress Welsing or Neely Fuller Jr. It was one of the two, but they were talking about the importance of specifically black people reading. You can watch, and I know people that just sit up and watch videos and they think they know what they say they know. But really, when you talk to them, you're like, that's not accurate. The point I'm making is the sauce is in the book. The sauce is in the book. Now, everybody, you look at people like Darwin. Darwin was racist, and he's in plenty of books. But there's common sense that should be held. Like when he says black people are genetically inferior. How, Sway? We created civilization. Next, get the hell out of here. But the books that I'm talking about, they have, and let me go. Let's just recap the two. In 2021, it is imperative that every household under the sound of my voice has this book and reads this book. I'm talking mother, father, son, daughter, and even baby. And I'm talking the baby in the belly before he pops out. Read this to the baby. Say, this is what you got. This is what you're going to be up against, little baby. The next one is this one. Come on, focus. There we go.
Erroneous zones, Dr. Wayne Dyer.
When you start to take accountability, responsibility, and you you start to make the moves that you need in your life you'll start to see changes. And then you start to realize that it's you that's doing it.
Yeah.
It ain't no sky daddy. It ain't no woo. It's you that's doing it. Take your power back. Anyway. Before we get to the fun fact. This is a book that you might be like, why you got that book? This book is Dave Chappelle told everybody that was listening to him at one of his shows to get this book, and you will understand stand-up comedy in the entertainment industry. But I'll take it even further. You read this book, you'll understand a lot about life, exploitation, and how to avoid it. And that's Iceberg Slim's Pimp.
Okay.
Now, he don't promote. He don't tell you to go out and be a pimp. And I was talking to an older friend of mine, and he said a lot of guys back in the day, they was like, oh, man, this is the blueprint to being a pimp. And they got jacked up in the game trying to do that. So, anyway, Iceberg Slim's Pimp. Make sure you go get it. Let's get back to these comments. Yep, I'm going to. Jerry Berry. Yes, please post that. I will. I certainly will. We gon' information, there's nobody owns information.
Right.
So, and people that know me know as soon as I get it, most people that I tell don't do much with it, but I'm like, here you go. So you can't say.
I done already gave it to you now. What you do with it is up to you.
That's right. So now, with no further ado, it's 10:15. We're going to get to this fun fact, and we're going to hand it over to Q Quarles.
That is a fun fact. Want to hear a fun fact? It's like a fun fact. Another fun fact. Here's a fun fact. Or not so fun fact. Or here's another not so fun fact.
Not so much fun anymore, is it?
So yesterday we went to an event that was in downtown Indianapolis, and it was called Vegan and Versus. And upon going to this event, we had to park a ways away, and we had to park in a residential neighborhood. So the neighborhoods downtown, like closer to downtown, are, historical Victorian homes and a mixture of modern homes, nonetheless majority white. Okay, so we parked in this neighborhood. We get out of the car, we walking, and it's all of these white folks that have, that are walking, jogging, and a lot of them have pets. So it was really eerie that when we were walking, so it was only myself, Marley, a friend and co-host of Black Vegan Fest Indy, Tashika Brewer, and my oldest daughter, Madison. So it's just the four of us walking in this all white neighborhood. So we walking, and the people who had dogs, the dogs were just going off, like barking. Okay. And like two of the people who had the dogs that were barking, they were like, "Oh, I am so sorry. I apologize. They usually don't bark like this." So in my mind, I was thinking, because I'm sure they don't see people like this, meaning who look like me, who are Black folks. And Madison, my oldest daughter, said, "I feel like we're in them." Now, to recap, Them is a series that premiered on Amazon Prime and is essentially about um, Black people pioneering in white neighborhoods. Pioneering is a term that I actually got from watching Lovecraft Country, that also touches on that, and that term is really relative to Chicago and the Great Migration, and when we moved from the South to the North, and you know the Black folks would be the first to move in an all white neighborhood. So that was called pioneering in Chicago. But that that series, like, although it was meant to be a horror and it touched on history, there were some things that I feel like people missed in this. So, and a lot of them stemmed from um, real estate practices back then that were overtly racist, but we didn't see it as that, like we typically don't. It was entertaining to us, but let me edutain you, okay, and break down a little bit of what is going on, some of those practices. um and some of them obviously was that of um it was called restrictive covenants, which was a practice that became legal, I think, in during the late 1950s, 1960s. So if you looked at that the deed or what have you, what the agreement in which they were signing, on there the restrictive covenant was that that home was not to be sold to anybody of having Negro blood. And the woman said, don't just disregard that. That's nothing that a little red ink can't take care of. And the husband signed it anyway. So this is the main practice that I want to focus on. And then at the end, I'll pose a question. And those who own their homes or are in the home buying process respond. So it's called blockbusting. Now, blockbusting in that movie, it basically showed exactly what was going on. So she moved a black family in an all-white neighborhood and sold that house at a much higher price than what it was valued or what have you. And then what happened is she would tell the white residents that and to scare them off, and it worked and caused white flight, is that okay, well, the racial thing is starting to change the housing sector. So they moving in and it's going to lower your value. So white people got scared and then they started selling their prices at a much undervalued price. And then the real estate agent would turn around and flip it and sell it to black people at a much higher price. And so a lot of people said that like based on the presumption of white people adding more value to your neighborhood versus that of, I don't want to go into a tangent of saying like we could increase the values of our own neighborhood. It's not dictated on no white folks staying in the area, but back then it was. So if you had white folks in your neighborhood, your area was well off, well to do, price higher, but nonetheless, blockbusting became possible after the legislation and judicial dismantling of legally protected, racially segregated real estate practices after World War II. By the 1980s, it largely appeared as a whole business practice after changes in law and the real estate market. So it became really heavy in Chicago. And Jamil is showing books. So I wanted to show a book that I actually purchased in an antique store. And it's called The Negro in White Suburbia. I still have it in the plastic that it came in. So it was 50 cents when it first debuted. I think I purchased this at
$1.
I purchased it. No, that was the remarking of the company itself. I purchased it at $10.50. I don't think you can see
So
it.
they
So yes,
blockbusting books too?
they did. They blockbusted this book, but I saw the value in it and I purchased it. So but what I think what we fail to realize is that hatred has always existed. White folks moved from the South to the North just like we did, but they moved with the hopes of avoiding drama. We moved with the hopes of avoiding trauma. And when they moved, never once did they say, well, we're moving because we feel like Negroes should be equal and we should. That wasn't the goal. They was trying to move away from it, just like in your own city. They'll move to those areas where they feel like they are welcome and they'll stay there. They did the same thing when they moved to the North. So Martin Luther King Jr. said it in a march in Chicago against unfair housing practices. He said that he had marched all around down south, but he had never seen any hatred like that of what was spewed in Chicago. So in the book that I have, it touched on all of the city, New York, all of them. Louisville, Kentucky actually split the whole city in half. It's like black folks over here, white folks over there. So I feel that these practices are still done. Like, even though blockbusting and restrictive covenants and other, and also another one is called steering. And steering is that of when a white realtor gets a hold of a black perspective and steers them into all black neighborhoods versus that of what their budget or what their loan would allow them to, like anywhere, but they'll take you to the black neighborhoods first. So my question to you is, are these practices, mainly blockbusting, are they still used? Do you see them? Have you witnessed them? Has it been used on you? Think about, you know, has how it has affected you in any way, shape, or form, directly or indirectly. Do you know you're of a family member that has been? I think about when I was going through the home buying process some time ago, and now that I think about it, that happened to me. She took me straight to the hood on the west side. I told her I wanted to live on the west side, and she took me to all the hoods of the west side. Like, and then like she didn't know where I grew up at. So it wasn't until then I told her, listen, I grew up by Butler Tarkington. And even after I told her that, she took me to the hood of Butler Tarkington. she took me to
Oh, the hood in Butler. I got you. We're going to go right to the abandoned buildings.
No, let me take you to this bando that I saw. It's a fixer-upper. But no, like, these were practices that stemmed from hatred, but yet was the segue to the plight of capitalism. So that is the fun fact. And I just wanted to pose that question again. Have you noticed it? Have you seen it? Like, it's still there. And if you have seen it, what do you think they call it now? What is it called now? Like, I would really like to know what the terms are, because I honestly feel like they do practice it, but they just call it something else. Like, in renting, you got to make 3 times the amount. How? You in a city that don't pay that much. How you gonna make 3 times? To me, that is restrictive. It's biased, but you can't prove it. I think they're ambiguous, very vague, restrictive covenants that you just can't prove that they are racist, but they still are.
So when you think of so when I found out about number running, you familiar with number running? I know you're familiar with number running. So are you aware that that's where the lottery stems from?
I mean, I can see that.
Yeah. So it was illegal for us to play the numbers. It was illegal.
My grandfather used to.
That was illegal. You would go to jail. You'll become property of the state. You lose, establishments, things of that nature. But as long as the government was able to do it, it's fine.
It was
Same
fine.
thing.
It was great.
Same thing that's happening with weed. Same thing that happened with alcohol. And so when you think of the different methods, you talk about blockbusting. The area that I live in, it's being gentrified. and they haven't had a grocery store over here in ages. But now that it's becoming more and more gentrified, a Publix should be built, starting to be built, maybe like
That
a mile
crazy.
a mile away from me. So these things, partially is for me. This is the society in which we live in. The key is to be aware of the tricks and traps, starting with the past so you can understand the present and how they correlate so that you can maneuver and not
Yeah.
shop with the crooked car salesman.
Yeah.
So that brings me to this book.
Yes, indeed.
Wrote a song about it, like to hit
Like
go.
to hit it go.
The New Jim
Yes.
Crow by Michelle Alexander. Let
Mm-hmm.
me tell you how powerful this book is.
They took it out of the jails.
The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Color Blindness. And Kamala Harris just said America wasn't racist for all you Chucks and Pearl people. This book is so powerful that they've banned it from prisons.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why they banned it because so many people were getting out of jail because of the information that they found out about the prison system. The justice system, rather. I say this all the time. I heard Damon Dash say this. I heard other people say it. You are controlled by the things you know nothing about. So it would be imperative, especially parents. It's imperative for adolescents, young adults too, so they'll know what they getting themselves into.
Yeah.
You know, I speak to friends that have children, and I try to tell them, hey, you might want to start teaching. You might want to start teaching and not expect the school system to teach this. You should. Oh man, that's negative. Or oh man, I want them to have their childhood.
No.
Okay, that's fine. But when they get snatched up by the back of their neck, you ever saw a cat or a dog snatched up? It neutralized them. Like a cat would be right ready to whoop your behind. And then you snatch them by that neck fat, they be like. In their mind, they like, how did he know? I can't move. So the point I'm making is, if you don't educate your babies, all they have to do is make one false move, and they snatched up, and ain't nothing nobody can do.
And another thing, don't get it misconstrued. Like we know that all folks can't afford the luxury of being able to homeschool their children like you would want to. Because I know some parents out there like myself, I would love to, but I can't. However, like
you still teach
you
your babies.
can still teach. You can still teach them. Like when they come home with that backwards history that they learning in school, you know, then that becomes your job to sit down and point out, like, they got books. Listen, I got books too. Now let me show you where this is wrong at.
But even
Let
before
me
you
show
get to
you
the
what
point
really
where,
happened.
even before you get to the point, I saw where a friend of mine posted where his daughter was being taught how wonderful Christopher Columbus was and all this other stuff.
Baby, listen.
So his rebuttal was, oh, tomorrow's about to be a different discussion in school. And I'm thinking, you should have already covered that.
Listen, that is so ironic that you're talking about this. Like my daughter, they didn't talk. They've never had the conversation of Christopher Columbus. They haven't had it just yet.
Hold on,
this is Marley.
Christopher who? Hold on.
On Christopher Columbus. So I don't know how I ended up on it like yesterday while we were on the bus stop. So we were talking about Native Americans, and then I told her about how our ancestors were brought over here. And then the Europeans came over here. and I took her book bag. I snatched her book bag off of her and I put it on. I said, this is my book bag now. I said, is that right? Is this my book bag? And she looked at me and she said, no, it's mine. I said, I know. This is what happened. they that's they steal your book bag and tell you, hey, this is my backpack, but it was already yours.
Furthermore, Christopher Columbus never set foot in North America. He was in South America and the Caribbean. What is the fascination
Yes.
with telling this lie
Over and over and
over and over and
again.
over? So,
And it's not, and I was speaking in terms of that, of just in general, what has been done to what has been done to us over and over and over again, with our culture, with our people being taken from a land that was home to us and brought somewhere where we knew nothing. With this is not who we are. Give me that backpack. It's mine now.
yeah. And if you say
And
anything
she
about
kind of
it,
she
you're
just kind of
being
looked at me.
mean. Why are you
Yeah.
trying to take your book bag back? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, and she looked at me with this with the big old brown eyes and was like, "No, that's not right. That's
I want
not
my book bag
fair.
back, Mommy. Give
Yeah,
me my book bag.
I have to take it to school." Yeah,
And that's one thing that really gets me passionate is when I'm talking to the parent, because we grew up in a time where we didn't have access to information so freely. But I know
yeah,
that had my mom had the information, it would have been like, but she didn't have it. And so now that we have it, we don't care. I don't want to think. I just want to come home from work and be okay. Well, that's cool. But why did you have babies? Because now you're setting them up for the hell. She says these are good books when getting into real estate. Know the history of these places. That's right.
and also I remember the name of the books now that I was going into. There are two books actually, and they can coincide alongside that of Michelle Alexander's book, and it's called The Color of Law and The Color of Medicine. So they they both talk about those different practices within that of real estate as it appears in law, and as well as in other things, and also in the color of in medicine, the practices in medicine that you had touched on earlier. So the color of law and the color of medicine.
And we'll compile a list of these books. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And well, I wasn't gonna say
Yeah.
Twitter, but who tweets anymore? I be tweeting to myself. I tweet to myself because there is no one to tweet
And
to.
you know what?
That's old school. They don't even know what I'm talking about.
It is.
Caroline says in Atlanta, people were winning at the number. The lottery was created to take that. You're right.
That money back. Yep.
They made it illegal. Now but now they control over the things that you. Ooh. Sierra says like Cha did with his babies. That's right. I know my guy taught his babies. It's imperative, man. It's imperative. The public school system, and it's ironic that the parents that I speak to, I asked them, have you ever heard of the case study, the school to prison pipeline? They'd be like, no. I'm like, you better look it up. It is, if they're the people that are listening to this show right now, some of you are new. If you have children, even if you don't have children, if you plan on having children, if you have nieces and nephews, little cousins, take some time out of your busy Saturday of partying and relaxing and just look up the school to prison pipeline. And don't just do one quick Google search, read a quick blurb, and I'm off to my day. Put some time into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, there was a excerpt that I shared yesterday on Instagram of Dick Gregory. And Dick Gregory was saying, when the ancestors choose you, when the ancestors choose you to awaken Ain't nothing you can do about it.
Boy.
And you don't see life as how it's painted to be. You see life how it is. And it's not to scare you. It's to enable you. It's to prepare you to maneuver, because you have so many people that's just following each other.
Yeah.
They can't see nothing but the backs of their heads, and they hear this voice, hey, everybody, you need to do this. And they just do it. And then you ask them, well, why did you do it? And they give you this cookie cutter answer that everybody says with no type of critical analysis. And you say, well, have you checked the cons over here? Have you looked at the history behind that? No. And then when you talk to them about it, they be like, you're a conspiracy theorist. Well, have you heard of it? No. Anyway, the new Jim Crow, man.
It's an excellent book.
Oh, man. This book, reading this book, I felt like I was in the movie. And that's one of the beautiful things about reading.
It is.
When you read something and you lock in, you just be on this roller coaster like,
yeah.
It's a form of entertainment. Enter to go inside, tain to control, and mint means mind. That book. So
take that as you will. Listen, I listened to that book on Audible, and then I went and I purchased the actual book, and then I went through and started I listened to it while highlighting some of the more like pertinent things and in the book to kind of keep in mind as to what is going on and the structure of different laws and all of that. Like she nailed that book. That book is brilliant.
Sierra says, please look at the documentary on Philadelphia and the inner city pipeline from junior high to prison.
Ooh, where on what platform?
What platform, Sierra? This is ordinary supersonic. This, that. Okay, I stop. Sierra, which platform is it on?
Probably exited stage left after that.
He done started singing Sierra. This is, man, I think I slept good, and so my brain is like firing on all 12 cylinders. But
yeah, that's fine.
Please look at the documentary. Okay, she probably did.
So yeah, but I'll look it up. Let me see.
Yeah, look that up for me real quick. The next book, and this is a precursor. Like it's not even the beginning. But it's a good start. It's an amazing start for us to start the trek back to learning who we were. She says Netflix.
Okay. Yep. Pull it up.
It's on Netflix. Okay. We will definitely check it out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look at it later today. But this next book, man, this next book is amazing. And if you've been on this show, we've already surpassed a year on this show, year and a few months. You've heard me talk about this author and this book so many times. Not many people that I know that I talked to moved on it, but the ones that did move on it, they were like, wow. This book, ladies and gentlemen, The Nile Valley, Contributions to Civilization. It's another imperative. I'm not going to say if you want to, because you probably don't want to, but you need to learn authentic history. And I'm not talking about the history. You know, one thing I found out is that I didn't start learning real history until I went to college. Like you gotta pay for some accurate history, because that free stuff,
Boy.
anything that comes to you easy, it's a trap. It's a trick. This one young brother was breaking it down on his Instagram page about the metaphor. He paralleled it to the mouse and cheese. He says when a mouse is trying to get through the maze, it's trying to get through the maze. But when they want to capture the mouse, they just have the cheese right here, right in the trap, and no maze. There's nothing to figure out. It's just the cheese is right here. And in his metaphor, the cheese was equating to the bag. The bag. We do everything for the bag. And the bag always, for most parts, from the trendy way of getting to the bag, always gets you bagged. But Siobhan, it's the Nile Valley contributions to civilization. Come on, focus on me. There we go. I know my hand is in the way. When I found out what the first Trinity was, I grew up in Kojic, Church of God in Christ, Pentecostal. That's like the Navy SEALs of Christianity, and I grew up in the cult. So they would talk about the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And I was always wondering, like, why is there never women present in any of these things? But I found that the first Trinity that was created by African people was the Father, the Mother, and the Child. 360 degrees of life, which makes more sense.
Yes, it makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense. And I mean, it's just so much. How many pages is this book? It's a quick read for those that. I hear you, Afeni.
Yes, Lord. Tip tapping.
She tap dancing over there. Give me a beat. 253 pages of rock solid information that you can verify for yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't proclaim to know everything. I know a little bit of a lot. You can never know everything. There's too much information to know everything. Nobody has a monopoly on information. Well, yes, they do, because they don't give you the right information. But what I'm saying is it's out here for your consumption so you can change your life, change your movements, change your environment. That's it for the show. That's all I have today. I want to thank everybody that participated. Special shout out to J-Dub.
So you still trying to encourage it, ain't you? You still want that encouragement? No.
Hey man, that brother said every brother had a special chicken dish.
And I'm thinking about it. Listen, ladies, if you were ever in college and got a chicken dish, we have been hoodwinked, okay?
Oh, right on, Chacha. I appreciate you for showing up and showing out, my brother. But I'm gonna tell you what, in college, I don't remember any woman cooking for me in college. Did any woman cook for me in college? I think I was just out here chefing on a budget.
Noodles. We was all cooking ramen noodles. What was we gonna cook? The same thing you did?
Nah,
Noodles.
you couldn't cook the same thing I did. Well, you could, because I was using your food stamps. Come on, somebody with the friend with the food stamps.
You put my business out there. Why would you do that? I'm so sick of you.
Listen, I called my grandma
But yes.
one day. I had bought a catfish, and I was like, Grandma, I'm about to cook this catfish, and I don't know how. She said, well, what do you mean? I said, just what I said. I don't know I said, how you open it up? And she started laughing. She said, well, cut it down the middle and pull the bones out. Man, I had that thing laid out on the aluminum foil. Was the best cooking aid ever in college. I don't use much aluminum foil nowadays, but in college, poke the
Listen, so
holes in it.
let me tell you the background of Jamil's comment. Okay, so senior year, I was huge and pregnant with my first daughter. Okay, and I was so I was still a student because I refused to go home and just be like, after all this time, like just waste all this money and say I'm gonna come back next year. So I was like, nah, son, that ain't gonna happen. Nah, son. So I stayed in school. I was on bed rest. I had people giving my books and homework and bringing it to me and so forth and so on. But I received food stamps while I was in school. So, you know, maybe slanging a couple. That's neither here nor there. I kept snacks. I sold snacks. Okay,
It's the
to the
snack
Sigmas.
lady, man.
Yeah,
Boom, boom,
listen
boom.
to the Sigmas on the floor above mine. Okay, I shall name no names who would come and knock on my door for them snacks late at night. But you know, I digress. But yes, that was me. And yes, we went grocery shopping often, Jamil and I, for his tuna and his noodles and his chicken, apparently. That he was using the finesse folks with. Look.
I wasn't finessing nobody. I'm an R&B kind of guy, so you know you just gotta turn off the lights and come on, put that hot sauce on that chicken real quick. Come on, that girl.
He was finessing y'all.
I enjoyed and look forward to the next time. One more thing, your IG foodie pick. You got me almost a vegan. Hey.
Oh, honey, now listen. So I need for you to go to on IG at AVJ Presents and check me out.
Yeah,
Okay?
she gets down, but and I
I
appreciate you
don't
for
listen.
Kanye Weston. She was talking about my vegan dishes. You jumping. I'm gonna let you finish, but at AVJ Presents, I gets down, baby. Okay.
Listen, I deserve that though. I deserved that Kanye moment. I did.
I didn't know Taylor Swift had a beard. But no, Kiana does get down with the food. She does get down. And thank you, baby, for showing up, Mama Harley. Enjoyed the show as usual. We thank you. And I'm glad that we could produce a good show for today. Yeah, make sure you add us on Facebook. Mine is Jamil Harley. Kiana is AVJ. No, are you just Kiana Corals?
Yeah, on Facebook.
You got like 1 million pages. Kiana Corals on Facebook. Another Vegan Journey.
Black Vegan Fest, Indy.
There we go. Black Indie Fest. Black Vegan
Yeah,
Fest.
because
Indy.
I saw you. You was thinking it was going through. You was trying to, and I wore the shirt just in case, and you still and it still just wasn't right.
Mayday.
Mayday.
Going down. Mayday. Mayday.
Well, I caught you though. I caught it.
But she says on IG. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right on Siobhan, right on CC, Cha Cha, Shishi, Sierra, everybody, Jerry Berry, J Dub. Did I miss anybody? If I did, I apologize. Bobby, my mama. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Jamil Harley Show. I want y'all to go out, enjoy Saturday, and get you some vitamin D. And I'm talking about vitamins. I'm not talking about nothing else. Get you some sunshine. Do your thing. Get you some water. Go work out, dude. Have fun and smile. Thank y'all.
Yeah. And you can still get the other one too, with a side of chicken.
You nasty mother. Well, with some kale. You got to sprinkle some kale on it first.
Thank you. Sprinkle a little kale on it. And when I say chicken, I mean like CHIK /N.
What's that?
There you go.
Is that the vegan
It's
chicken?
Yeah.
Goodbye.
You are now listening to the Jamil Harley Morning Show.